Okay, so we got a 2018 GMC Sierra with a pretty gnarly grinding sound and some hard shifts. So we're gonna drop the pan and check it out. On this one, I want to try to drop the exhaust a little bit. It's gonna be those 15 millimeter nuts. I just want to lower it down so I can have a easier time getting the pan off. Right there, I already have it loose. I did take them all the way off, but I didn't get the exhaust all the way out. I just wanted to have some more room. Normally what I would do is just get a pry bar and wedge it right there. Man, that was like perfect timing with this voiceover. I don't know if you saw that, but anyway, so here I'm draining the fluid slowly because this one doesn't have like a drain plug. I normally just like lower it the same way I'm doing it now and make a huge mess and get it on me and everywhere, and ooh brother, ooh. So the pan's already all the way out. That's the valve body. Also, that is the transmission fluid filter right there. A lot of this stuff kind of works kind of weird. I don't know too much about transmissions, if I'm being honest. I would like to, but it just hasn't ever come up. So normally what we do here at the shop, for the most part, is just replace them, especially if they have like a lot of damage in there. And that's something that they want to do, and I would like to do it, but I know it takes a lot more time and whatnot. But anyway, I don't know if you saw all that metal in there. I've definitely seen worse, but this one had more like heavy material than supposed to be in there. That magnet is supposed to catch like really fine material, but the thicker stuff, I guess, it was just too much debris in there, I guess. I have seen a lot worse, but there was enough in there. And then given what the vehicle was doing with the whole, it sounded like a grinding, like if rocks were in there. Also, the hard shifts. Here I'm using my inspection pick to show you guys that some of it is like a heavy glitter, I guess. Like, you know, when you see that, like you have your regular glitter and then there's that like thick glitter. There's some chunks in there, some metal that was pretty thick. So that's what she said. Here's some more. And actually, we did this transmission several months ago, not that long ago, so it is going to have like warranty and all that, which they'll just get a whole new unit, which is cool. From what I've heard, most of the time the front pump is what goes bad and starts just like pushing material into the transmission because it, like, I guess it wears down and it starts grinding on itself. Like I said, I don't get to rebuild them too often, and I would definitely like to, but it is what it is. Here, I guess I'm just showing you guys it dripping some more. This was the next vehicle I brought in. It's a 2010 Ford Escape. We are going to be doing a throttle body on it because it had some bogging down, some revving up. It was just acting kind of weird. It did have a throttle body code. I can't remember which one it did have, but we're going to end up doing the throttle body. So that's the connector. You got to remove that. And there's going to be those hose clamps and a pipe that goes on the bottom. You got to remove that air cleaner duct. And look at that. I don't know. That wasn't me. Okay, so now to get the air duct out of the way, you just use a flathead to get those hose clamps off, and then that's about it. So I'm going to attempt to use a pick here to remove the connector, or at least the little security lock. And I'm trying it with my right hand, but the angle was kind of weird, so I did it with my left hand, and I popped it off a lot better. Look at that. All right, so that's the throttle body. Super easy to do. We're going to need an 8 millimeter, and I'm using a handy dandy DeWalt to break it all loose and get it off. You can do it with a ratchet in your hand. It doesn't matter. You get it all the way loose, and then I totally skipped the part of me removing it and all that, so sorry, here you go. We're going to replace the gasket because we have a new one, as you saw right there in the beginning of the scene. And I think I skip over me putting the new one on, and it's just on. Boom, done. So that's the new gasket. And this is kind of just a blown up view of the intake and the throttle body and what goes in between what. And here are also the torque specs, which are, it is 10 Newton meters right there, circling it with the cursor. It was actually a very easy, quick job. Nothing a super professional like me couldn't handle. And setting the torque wrench to 10 Newton meters, because that's what it says to do. And I know most people probably won't torque it down because it's just, I don't know. Let's be real. Nobody's going to torque it down. But I'm going to torque it down. So here, I get the torque wrench, and then you just kind of torque it down. You know what? It would actually be really good practice to always torque it down, because especially on a throttle body, which if air is getting behind the throttle body and it's getting like unregistered or all that good stuff, you start getting all these codes. The engine also is going to start running weird. So yeah, just torque everything down. Rant over. And yeah, I guess there we go. So here we are going to be doing like an idle relearn or idle reset or a throttle body reset, because most of the time you need to do that, especially if it's all electric stuff. On this one, you're going to go to make sure your ignition is on, make sure the scanner is hooked up and it's already got all the information it needs. And then you go to hot functions, at least on this particular scanner, and then you're going to go to the throttle body, and you're going to do a reset, keep alive memory. I think this is equivalent to what you do like on most Chevy cars, which is the idle relearn. Once it's done doing what it's got to do, it'll tell you to take the ignition off, and then it'll just boom, done. It doesn't even tell you anything, but whatever. Good. And then here we go. We're going to turn it on, and it's actually already on. Before, when I didn't do that reset, but it would stay at like $2,000. Like as soon as you turned on the car, it would just stay at $2,000. And if you rev it up, it would stay wherever it landed. Like let's say you revved it all the way up to 3,000, it would just stay there and then eventually come back down. So that's how we do the resets. Some throttle bodies don't need that. For the most part, I think that it's like a 80% time of the time you need to be resetting it, especially if it's like all electric and stuff. Here I'm just driving the car, making sure everything's running good. It used to bog down, it used to accelerate, it used to do a bunch of weird stuff, and this whole drive, it didn't do anything. I didn't record all of the drive, or at least I didn't put most of the video in here because it was like 13-14 minutes, and it's just me driving, so I just put this little bit in there just for cinematic effects. Let's see, it ran great. I mean, there was no issues with it, so we let it go. And this is that 81 Corvette that I did the carburetor on the other day. They brought me, we're doing a few things to the car, so there might be another video on it later on too. So they brought me a starter that was just bad out of the box. So they brought me a new one. I tested it. This one's actually working. And I put it on. And it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, it's a big old heavy starter. Probably weighs as much as that engine does, but you know. I did that power steering assist deal there several months ago. And here is where the battery's at, behind the seat, and it drains the battery really bad because something's staying on. There's a beeping in the background. Right now, while I'm doing this voiceover, I can't hear it, but I'm sure it's there. Yes, that is me struggling to find the hole for the key, and it turned on like that super fast. Like I had to release that ignition, if not it would have started and just kept going. Tachometer isn't working that great, as you can see there, but I mean it is from 81, so give the girl a break. And let's see, turn it off. It's got that little lever to make sure you get it all the way off, and it still stays beeping. And boom, release. Look at that. Reaction times. I'm actually surprised the car's running as good as it is just with everything out of the box. Like, haven't even messed with the carburetor and it runs good. Starter starts up good. So